Since we're cutting the cheese, can you speak a little bit louder just so we can pick it up?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's better.
So, are we ready for the next little experiment? So, in the last session, someone asked about kind of like tornadoes and typhoons. So, tornadoes and typhoons are again starting with wind, and there's very particular conditions that make kind of like the wind behave in a certain pattern. So, for example, I've got two bottles here, and what would happen if I turn them? So water is moving from the bottle with the water to the bottle without water. Now, is there any spin or anything? Let's give it a bit of a help. So what's happening in the bottle here?
With the air from one to the other.
Yep, just by the fact that I've spun it, it created kind of like a little vacuum, kind of like straight in the middle of the tornado, and it draws the water faster down. Would you like to try? Thank you. So this is very similar to how a tornado is formed. Oh. So, let's try. Let's try and see.
You held it for I don't have the right spin on it. Oh, nearly there. It's trying. I'm not very good at tornadoes. I told you I wasn't very good. I'll let Eleanor give it a go. No, I'm no one names. I've seen you.
So, and you can.
Did you hear that, Jenny? She said, we're not having a night out, are we now? That's because she's not going to
So, and you can have a simpler version just with a little bottle. So I've got a tiny drop of washing up liquid in here, and then you just give it a spin and watch what happens. So there's different ways. So what happens with tornadoes is there is a funnel cloud that is created, and this cloud kind of like, so you need really warm ground and really cold air. So because the ground is warm, water evaporates, it creates a column, and as wind hits it, it starts spinning, and it spins faster and faster and faster, and eventually it becomes strong enough that you can actually see the funnel clouds and also see the tornado going down. Now, tornadoes start from land, and those are quite usual in places in America and some deserts around the world and so on and so forth. But what I was asked about last time, it was about hurricanes, typhoons and cyclones. So do we know the difference between a hurricane, a typhoon and a cyclone?
Wind speed.
Yes, absolutely.
Rather than like this kind of country, is there a reason why it happens over, it seems to be hot countries rather than...
Well, definitely the heat has got something to do, but also if you think where the tornadoes are happening, it's kind of like in a big dust plain, so it's big areas without mountains and trees. It's just a flat area where the wind can develop enough speed. So, and again in Europe you generally don't have like vast expanses of land without any kind of like features on top. So that's how they're not that frequent on our side of the pond. And trees and yes. Now, no problems at all. I did mention typhoons and hurricanes and cyclones. So, grossly speaking, cyclones are in the southern hemisphere, hurricanes and typhoons are on the northern hemisphere. And with hurricanes and typhoons, the difference is where they happen. So, North Atlantic and Northeast Pacific, so both sides of America and a bit kind of like of Europe and stuff, those are hurricanes. The ones at the Northwest Pacific, so kind of like closer to India, Indian Ocean and stuff like that, those are typhoons. So it's just depending on where they are, the name of them. Now all of them are different types of tropical storm. So you get a tropical wind up to, if it goes above 34 miles an hour, it's a tropical wind. If it goes above 76 miles an hour, that is a tropical storm. So that is when it becomes a hurricane or typhoon or a cyclone. Now for a typhoon or a cyclone, you need water, you need a vast expanse of ocean, which is really warm, and you also need really cold air. So what happens is, because the water is really warm, it evaporates quite fast, and it creates a column of air that pretty much creates condensation in the form of clouds. Now again, if there's converging winds because of the rotation of the earth, for example, this can start creating a whirlpool. And the warmer the water is, the faster the water evaporates, and that kind of like makes it spin faster and faster and faster. So then you see the similar effect to the bottle, where you kind of like get it starting moving, and it will just enforce itself over and over again. Now that is the reason that with hurricanes and typhoons and cyclones, as soon as they hit ground, they start going a bit kind of like weaker. Are there any questions, comments?
So when it's oversea and it pulls the water up into a water spout,
No, that's a very similar thing. That's how they all start. So the funnel spout, it might be a funnel cloud as well, which is a different cloud formation. But it's the same principle, that you get like evaporation happening quite fast. Converging winds, because like the water evaporates so fast, it creates a column, and wind cannot go through it. So as soon as it goes and hits it, it starts angling around. So if you have converging winds, eventually they would get stronger and stronger and stronger, just because of the effect of the water evaporating so fast. And the faster the water evaporates, the faster clouds will be condensing on the top, and then they would keep driving the phenomenon kind of like stronger and stronger and stronger.